Okay, what if I told you guys that there was a very wealthy South Korean man who has been buying up record labels all over the world? And not only has he got his sights set on the US, but he also has a US partner that we all know and love to hate, and who's really important to this story. Okay, so about 20 years ago, a man named Bang Si-hyuk created a company named Big Hit Entertainment Co. And he also created what would eventually become the world's most successful K-pop band, which is, or K group, I guess, which is BTS. Now, Bang eventually folded Big Hit into a complete entertainment company named Hybe Co. I want to make sure I get this right, which operates as a record label, talent agency, music production company, event management, concert production company, and even a publishing house. It owns multiple subsidiaries, and they're all known as Hype labels. Now, in a parallel storyline, there is a company named Universal Music Group, and they are the biggest music group in the US. There's only three big ones, and they are the biggest, and they own about 47% of market share of all music distributed in the US. They have a bunch of smaller labels under them, like Republic, UMG Nashville, Def Jam, and they represent some of the world's biggest artists like Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber, Selena Gomez, and literally thousands more. Now, here's where things get interesting. In 2018, Taylor Swift left her record company, Big Machine, and went to Republic Records under the UMG umbrella. Now, in 2019 is when she announced that Big Machine had sold her masters to Scooter Braun, and that started the whole masters controversy and the re-recordings process. Then in 2020, Scooter sold her masters to a company named Shamrock Holdings, who happens to be owned by the Disney family, and he made about 265 million bucks on the deal. Now, stick with me. February of 2021, Big Hit announced a strategic partnership with UMG, the record label. Then in March of 2021, they created Hybe. So Big Hit was folded into Hybe. In April of 2021, Hybe acquired Ithaca Holdings, which is Scooter Braun's company. And as part of the billion-dollar deal, Scooter got a seat on the director board. Now, in July of 2021, Scooter was announced as co-CEO of the United States division of Hybe and managed all U.S. operations. Scooter became the sole U.S. CEO in January of 2023. So for the Swifties, this means that Scooter is the sole US CEO of a company that has exclusive partnership agreements with Taylor's record label, but it's bigger than just Taylor. Okay, just a little bit about Hybe, and I'm just going to hit the highlights for the sake of time. But Hybe has a ton of investments in various technology, apps, video games, and all kinds of entertainment ventures. And it's also been quietly buying up ownership stake in record labels across the world, and has recently set its sights on the US, which is Scooter's job here. Now, before they became Hybe, they purchased several major K-pop labels and bought majority shares in a company called SM Entertainment, which is one of the biggest K-pop labels and represents some of the biggest K-pop artists in the world. Now, this just shows that they are looking to find partners in the Latin music. And then this just shows that they are trying to acquire the top labels in each genre. You can pause to read, but it's just talking about mutual trust between Scooter, how much Bang trusts Scooter and is happy to work with him, how valuable Scooter is to the company and a partner, how Scooter intends to work his butt off and bought the whole team watches. So as you can see, they are really close partners and really enjoy working together. So if you pause any of those to read, you can see that his plan is to make boy or girl groups here in America in different genres and apply the methodology that he used for K-pop bands groups to groups here in the US. And Scooter is in charge of helping him do that. In fact, that is a major part of the partnership that they have with UMG. Now that's concerning because K-pop stars are treated as commodities and not as people. Even BTS, who is treated better than 99% of other K-pop stars, still had to work 16-hour days. They had to film like their whole lives, and they had a ton of rules that they had to follow, like They controlled what they ate, what their bodies looked like. They couldn't even choose to cut their hair, who they dated, their relationships, all that kind of stuff. Everything was controlled. Another concerning thing about Hybe from a artist point of view is that they've made a significant investment in artificial intelligence, specifically in voice duplication and creating music from artificial intelligence. And in fact, as you can see here, he says, I don't know how long human artists can be the only ones to satisfy human needs and human tastes. So from an artist standpoint, okay, so I gave you the rundown on the Hybe situation. There's actually a lot more and a lot more connections, but I wanted to end it there. If you guys want to know more, be sure and let me know, and I will give you more. But I didn't want you to get too bogged down with information because I could talk about this stuff all day. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think it's more likely that she's going to start her own record label? Do you think it doesn't really matter? Do you think there's any connections here? Now, the partnership with Hybe and UMG, besides the girl and boy group situation, a lot of the partnership involves like apps that help facilitate fan interaction. And so I think if Taylor wanted to, she could probably opt out of working with them and working with Taylor just because she is so high up on the food chain. But it is a partnership that is going to be pretty prominent going forward. So it just is, her being with another record company that puts her in a position of having to work with Scooter, which I know is something that she never intended to do. Also, obviously it's not going to affect her that much, but up and coming artists can be really affected by all these different changes, especially the 360 deals. Or do you think that she would just disregard the whole feud and move forward with the partnership because it could advance her career and probably make her more money and be a really good, connection with her and her fans as far as like new technology? Or do you think that she will be really against it because of the Scooter Braun of it all, but also the AI and the 360 deals for new artists? Apparently I'm going to keep making these videos, so make sure and subscribe and all that stuff. And yeah.